Okay, so in our previous section of the episode, we've mentioned the different study tips or routines that we all use. So we mentioned using Anki. We also talked about different forms of motivation and how we stay motivated. So next, moving on, let's also discuss how we maintain a good work-life balance, because this is a very important part of being a student. Our work is studying, but we also need to balance that with the rest of our lives. How do you guys work to maintain a work-life balance?
For me, I personally I will entertain myself like maybe after 1 hours I study, I will force myself to stop. I will count my study time, and when the timer reach like 1 hours or 1 hours 10 minutes something, and then I just stop it and then go to relax. And my relax the method is not before I will just lying on my bed and watching YouTube videos, but finally I found that it's not possible because I would just lie in bed and then sleep, fell asleep. And yeah, after I read some books and then some YouTube videos online talking about how to relax, and if I want to just stay in the study mode, and my my relaxed way is just walking around and then maybe drink some water and then have a sun bath outside, or maybe just watch the plants, the green things, something like that. And that is the way when I stop studying, I would just take 10 minutes for relaxing. And but when I just want to stop the study mode, then I will just do whatever I want, like play video games, watching YouTube videos, something like that.
Hmm, that's interesting. So I think all of us agree that relaxing it's very important in finding that work-life balance. That is very important because we want to avoid burnout, and that would help us support our physical and mental well-being. And for me personally, I find it hard to relax because I tend to relax and work at the same place. So I have the study desk that I usually work in. And sometimes when I try to relax, I tend to just sit there and then probably watch some Netflix. But then mentally, my brain is still in that working mode. And I find that it's very hard to really relax and to just enjoy the show that I'm actually watching. Sometimes my mind would drift away, and then I would actually focus on, I would actually drift away and then think about something else, about studying. And it's actually a paradox because when I'm studying, I think about relaxing. And when I'm relaxing, I think about studying. So for me, I find that's best if I actually leave the area that I'm working on and try and segregate my work and life areas. So probably like in the living room, that would be where I relax and where I talk to my friends. But when I'm actually in the study desk, I try to trick my brain to thinking that, oh, actually, I really need to start working. So I shouldn't do anything else other than work. That would be that would be a trick for me to kind of manage my energy as well as to manage my time. So what about you guys?
Yeah,
It kind
yeah,
of brings us back to what I mentioned previously, that I tend to actually leave my room for more efficient studies. And I think it's very important that you differentiate where you study and where you have rest. Um, but also, I think it's kind of important that you don't study at the same place for too long as well. For example, for me, it is not usually very effective when I go to the library, sit at the same place every day. So I will soon start to get distracted. So I prefer to change my working place almost every day. For example, one day I can study outside, the other day inside. And owing to CUHK campus, we have so many libraries here, so it's a huge choice. And every day I'm trying to make it as new as possible. And yeah, I also think that actually for us to differentiate our work and our personal life, it's kind of important to um, be very careful with the time when we relax, because as soon as we start relaxing, it's very hard to get back on track and continue studying after it. So it's very important to know some tips how to avoid procrastination, I guess, because for me personally, usually I work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then after 4 p.m. I, for example, may have some lunch break. And during this lunch break, I tend to be so relaxed that I really don't want to continue studying anymore. But I know that there is so much time left before it's time to sleep, and I need to use it as efficiently as possible. So I think it's very important to know how to manage the situation and avoid procrastination. So what we should know about procrastination is that there are two ways how we can deal with it. And one is more negative, the other one is positive. The negative way is when we start blaming ourselves for doing it, and we feel anxious when we don't work, which makes us feel even more overwhelmed. And the other way is positive when we feel anxious, we don't work, but we do acknowledge these thoughts and we try to like put them into some action. And it has been proven that more like kindness to yourself actually helps to improve your performance. What I mean here is you should not blame yourself a lot for like not completing everything you want in just one day. Instead, you should find a strategy that will be helpful for you and at the same time will not be don't be too harsh on yourself. How can we do this? Probably by setting up very clear goals and also by prioritizing every goal for each day. Um, it may be useful to highlight with markers. Like for example, I usually highlight the most important points I'd like to complete in a day with a pink marker, and then goes yellow, which is not as important as pink, and the last one is purple. And then I try to go through the day and complete all the pink marker points I've highlighted. And as long as they do this, I try not to blame myself for everything else I haven't completed, because I know that it is not as important as other things. Yeah, and I also think it's very important to reward yourself, because in psychology we have this reward theory, and there are 4 types of reward and punishment, like positive reward, positive punishment, negative reward, negative punishment. And positive reward has been proven most effective when it comes to procrastination. So try to provide yourself with something you really like after you complete your task, because it will give you motivation to continue in the future. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, and I think Anna just brought up a really interesting questions about the work-life balance, the relaxing part. Is like we always know that it's very important for us to relax, to avoid from burnout, something like that. But as Anna just mentioned, sometimes we just cannot control ourselves in the relaxing part, and then the relax will finally turn out into procrastinations. So I think that's a quite interesting topics that we can talk about. What is relaxing actually for us? How can we just afford ourselves from originally relaxing and then turn out into procrastinations. What do you guys do to avoid that happen?
So personally, I try to set a timer for myself. If I'm going on longer breaks, then I would say, okay, I'm gonna relax for an hour, and then when that timer goes off, I'll have to go back to work. But then sometimes my brain doesn't really do what I want it to do, and I find that sometimes when I do like a 5-minute meditation just to calm down myself, because sometimes I get way too excited after relaxing. I try to do meditation, 5-minute breathing 5-minute breathing techniques, and 5-minute breathing exercises have been proven scientifically that they actually help you to concentrate and to calm your mood down, to actually be in that mentality and headspace to really effectively work. So meditation works for me. I try to breathe in and breathe out, and I try to just make my mind go blank and just focus on my breathing. And that, for me, it helps me to calm down. Have you guys tried meditations? Does it work for you guys?
I have actually tried some meditation and mindfulness breathing. I actually joined a program about over the summer, but I found that what worked for me more than meditation was actually journaling, because I find that when I journal and I just let my thoughts flow onto the piece of paper, I realize there's actually a lot of mental baggage that I'm carrying around that I don't usually realize that's been on my mind. Like I might be worrying about something and it's been taking up a lot of my mental capacity, and I don't realize this until I have it down on paper. And once I've written it down, it feels a lot less intimidating. So what I sometimes actually do is when I feel overwhelmed, I'll take a break and I'll set a timer for around 30 minutes. And there's something called morning pages where in the morning you just do like free form writing and you just write nonstop. You don't let yourself take a break. You just write everything that's on your head. So I kind of do that when I need a break. I'll just open up a Word document that I have for journal entries and I'll just let all my thoughts flow on paper. And one, I will realize what's been worrying me. Two, I will realize the things that are urgent and need to be done, and also the things that aren't that important. But the fact that I have it written down on a sheet of paper or on a Word document means I won't forget it. Because our minds are for coming up with ideas, but not necessarily storing ideas. Like we need to write down these things so we don't forget it. And half the time I have the anxiety because I constantly feel like I'm going to forget it when I can solve the issue by just writing it down. So for me personally, journaling has worked, and I suggest this to anyone who might find it difficult to meditate, but I also know that meditate does wonders for people too.
That's very true. Personally, when I'm extremely overwhelmed, meditation doesn't help, because when I try to calm myself down, actually more thoughts actually flow inside my brain, and it actually makes me much more anxious. So journaling for me also helps, because I have a bit of like anxiety, and sometimes I tend to overthink and ruminate on a lot on the past. So when I try to journal, or sometimes when I don't feel I don't feel like actually writing things down or typing them out, I do like voice recordings. I don't send it to anyone else, just for my own reference. When I try to formulate sentences and try to express myself through verbally talking about it, I tend to find that like that is an irrational thought. So, or maybe that is just me overthinking. So I try to call myself out on these things, and it actually helps me process my anxiety and also these like overwhelming thoughts. So yeah, that works for me, journaling.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Also, I've never tried a meditation, but I I also use the method of the generalizing. Actually, it's a method that I heard from a book I've read before, and as I think many people have experienced the thing that when you are going to have an examination or maybe an interview or a meeting, before that you have many things on your head, or not talking about that serious environment. Maybe it's only just simple as you are going to study, and then before study, just so many thoughts come out when you want to start something. Like I will think of like, oh, I have to clean my desk, or I have to buy the things for my mom, or I have to cut my hair maybe 1 week after, and then that's just make you distracted. And generalizing is very useful in this case. No matter you are just something messy in your head before you sleep, or before you're studying, or before your examination. And I think that's a pretty good method. Just writing down the thought you think of, maybe like, I want to cut hair, just write it down. I want to clean my desk, just write it down, and then just put it aside. And then your brain will just magically put that thought outside of your brain, and then you can start your working very very good, and then very properly, and then just straight ahead to study. So I think it's a very good method that I would recommend it for the people maybe when they have many thoughts. Yeah, I think everyone can use that skills.
What other
What about-
methods do you guys use to calm yourself down or to prevent overthinking?
I feel like it's also very important to have a support network and like have a friend to talk to, because I think for me, last term was pretty stressful because I was taking a chemistry course which I was very bad at, even though I'm a science student. But I was really worried about my grades, and I'm a Morningside college student, so we have mentors, and owing to this mentor, it was much more like easy to deal with the examination, because I was able to talk to her and to share my fears about the grades and about the exam itself, and it really helped to calm me down, I guess. She also told me that like she knows that I will get a good grade, and I think someone who believes in you is very important in your life.
Yeah, I also bad in chemistry too. In this semester, I got and when I few days ago, and then I got a login with my Blackboard, and then my chemistry course just right in the sentence say that your grade have dropped a bit. You better find a study partner. And I just talked with my friend. I say I'm sad because my chemistry is bad. And then yeah, I think have someone to support your back is very important. And then after that, I think the Blackboard say the study partner is also helpful too for me.
What are everyone's thoughts on having a study buddy when they're studying for a major exam? Does having a study group usually help you, or do you find that it's distracting? For me personally, I prefer studying by myself, but I know the benefits of also studying with someone else. It's just for me, like oftentimes my timing might not work with other people's timing, because I know a lot of people are night owls, whereas I prefer to wake up early at like 7 a.m. and start grinding away at whatever lectures I need to be reviewing. But I remember back in high school, one of the most memorable moments was when everyone was just on a call together, and we were all working on like a big assignment. So like for us, it was like an IA. Like if we were all working together on a call, it's just like the energy, and it was just so good because everyone was there working. If you had any questions, you could ask each other. For the most part, the call was silent, but you know that your friends were around you, and it was a really good support system.
Yeah, it is really nice to be able to work with other people because I tend to go down, I tend to be distracted by my own thoughts when I'm alone. So having someone around you, you kind of like their energy kind of influences you and you start to focus on on doing your actual work. And for me, having study groups help with tackling exam questions. So personally, for medicine, we have MC and MCQs, we have essay questions, and we have short answer questions. So because there aren't a lot of senior notes on essay questions, I tend to find a few other friends and then we try to tackle these questions together or sometimes separately in groups. For one, that would be much more efficient. And secondly, it sometimes helps to see what others might answer, and that would help you learn from each other. Does that work for you guys and other different majors?
Yeah, it works for me very well. And because I don't know, is that related to my personality? I am a very I gain the energy from socializing, and even though now is a pandemic situation, but I also love to study with someone because I think at home, like a comfortable place, and you have to study alone, and sometimes you will get distracted. But when you got someone that you can see, you can just see them studying, maybe look at them working on their assignments or whatever they're doing, they are just focusing on studying. And then you will feel guilty if you just distracted and go to play video games or yeah. And but so I now just I will join some Discord online Discord study group, and then we can just open the camera like what we are doing now, and then we will just filming ourselves writing. Or if sometimes there are no people online or I can't find someone to study with me, then I will just go to YouTube, search some study with me live videos, and then by watching them studying very, very hard, and then they will just influence you, like Kat just said, then it will feel guilty for me. I will feel guilty when I just want to go to relax. So I think that's helpful for me.
Yeah,
I've heard that uApple actually have a Discord group as well, Discord study group.
Yeah.
That's really nice. What do you think about it, John?
Finding study partner is a very useful technique. And not only finding study partners, finding friends, as Anna has said, it could help you to release your stress. I really agree with that. And this is exactly the topic of our next episode: how to fit in, how to find friends. And yeah, this is just an advertisement. Yeah, so welcome everyone to join our next episode.